Hello everyone to my channel and Facebook page. I'm Rafid Jaboori, and today I'm in Erbil, the capital of the semi-autonomous region of Kurdistan in northern Iraq, and with me, Iraqi former foreign minister and finance minister Hoshyar Zebari. Hello Hoshyar Zebari, thank you for doing this.
Hello Rafid, it's very nice to see you here in Erbil, in Kurdistan.
Thank you so much, thank you so much. And we are in an era that is still influenced by what happened in 2017 when the Kurds tried to gain their independence. And you played a major role in the campaign to organize the referendum, which ended miserably for the Kurds. The referendum, of course, there was an overwhelming majority for a Kurdish state, independent state from Iraq, but that didn't happen. What happened is actually a weaker Kurdistan government and a more powerful federal government of Iraq.
Do you think so?
I'm making that claim to you.
Okay. Well, 2017 is not a long time back. It's recent history. And the decision to go to referendum by the majority of the Kurdish people was a collective decision. It wasn't Masoud Barzani's or myself's decision. I think there was a unanimous decision, and the reason, because we felt that Baghdad is failing on its commitment. It's not implementing what the constitution or the social contract that we have agreed in 2005 is not abiding by these obligations. So the idea then was to go and ask our people themselves, this is what we have. Can we live with this? Or you want to decide your own future? The referendum, Rafid, I was quoted publicly in the international media, doesn't mean that the Kurdish state or the breakaway from Iraq will happen the day after. Referendum is an expression of the public will of the people.
But that doesn't make sense, does it?
No,
when you organize a referendum and everybody takes notice, like Turkey and Iran.
No, it does make sense and notice. Listen, 1992, when we held the first election in Iraq, again, all these countries were opposed to these Kurdish elections, but it became a reality.
You're talking right after the Gulf War of
exactly.
1991, when the Kurdistan region became outside the power of Saddam Hussein.
Exactly. So when we held the referendum, really we were very open and public that to go for an independent state, there are a number of stages that you have to pass through. We are not there. But this is a message. This is, if you ask any Kurd, what does he want to or he wish to? He said, definitely I want to live equally with other nations in this region to have my own state. This is a fact, of course.
But how do you do it?
Exactly.
The way you did it?
No, but this was the first attempt to go to the people. And 92% of the Kurdish people to vote yes. Okay? So it was a statement to Baghdad, to other countries. This is the will or the wish of our people. But it doesn't mean it will be automatically implemented, because you need to establish institutions, you have to sufficient sustainable economy, you have to have a number of other security institutions. Listen, you have to have your central banks, you need to have international recognitions, and so on. So we are not there.
But more importantly, I would claim, and you were a foreign minister and veteran politician, was America, Turkey, and Iran. You antagonized those powers who had and still have huge influence in Iraq, and they were all telling you, don't do it, don't do it, don't go for a referendum, don't go that far.
No, we know the position of our neighborhoods. You see, we have been living in
But even America was against it.
Even with the American, actually, there was some mixed messages. Let's be very frank and honest with you. Okay? With the American, with our other allies, we asked them, what is the alternative for us in order to buy in or to sell it to our people? You are coming to us at a critical moment when the whole people are fired up, you see. So if you have a better alternative, yes, we will listen to you. But they didn't offer. It was a statement of intention. There was no obligations whatsoever. That's why we disagree. Yes, the consequences afterward, under our constitution, the government should not use the armed forces to settle political differences. In our constitution, the issue of Kirkuk has to go to referendum.
You're talking about
about
the consequences, what happened
after. I know,
after.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You lost Kirkuk.
No,
Kirkuk, the oil-rich city.
I know, but we lost it to whom?
Okay. Now I'm trying to explain. By the way, I'm trying to explain it a little bit to those who don't follow this day in day out. Kirkuk was under the Kurdish control until 2017, as part of the counter movement of the Iraqi federal government. They attacked Kirkuk and they regained control over Kirkuk. So you lost more than.
No, I know. And the Hashd al-Sha'bi.
Of course, the Iran-backed militias.
With the Iranian backing and so on.
And with an American green light.
I don't know, but they were quiet actually. They didn't take any position.
Yeah. But the American trained counterterrorism service of Iraq.
No, I know. They took
significant part in retaking Kirkuk.
They used American tanks, Abrams tanks, to attack Kirkuk by the PMF. Yeah. Okay.
So Iran-backed militias use
exactly. This is recorded. Okay.
Yeah, use American tanks.
Exactly. But the then Prime Minister Abadi didn't win that battle because he lost the election.
Yeah.
Exactly.
1 year after that.
1 year after that.
Yeah.
So he may have boosted about that, but really it was the end of his term.
Yeah. And you survived in your areas
in
the
elections. We survived, exactly. Yeah. We retained our
Because one would think that there would be a wipeout for a party.
No.
That,
No, we resisted actually. We fought back. They wanted to come and invade Kurdistan. They were at the gates of Erbil, but the Peshmerga...
The Iraqi forces.
The Iraqi and the PMF forces. And also in Zamar and Sinjar, there was fierce battles. Okay? So this is how we survived. And despite the blockades, the closure of the airport, the closure of the borders, but the resilience of our people, the unity, and they didn't regret what they have done, that they have been punished for doing something, it's their right.
So you don't think that you have become weaker as a result? Although you lost Kirkuk, for example.
We lost territory, I agree with you, but we didn't lose our autonomy, we didn't lose our institution, we survived, we resisted, until we managed to unlock all this.
Which is when and how?
Well, after that, after we fought them, we stopped them, you see, not to advance any further, okay? We destroyed many tanks, we destroyed so many IPCs and so on. It was battles, but it was hushed up.
Finally on this, do you think that the Kurdish dream of independence is still alive?
The Kurdish dream always will be there. You see, it has been with us, just like now the Palestinians are living on this dream.
The reason why I asked you, Mr. Zebari, is because many Kurds now are saying that we are actually Iraqis more than before 2017.
No, still you can be a good Kurd and a good Iraqi at the same time. There is no contradiction between them.
And hope for independence.
No,
hope for a separate state.
These dreams will remain with us, with every Kurd. Anybody tell you otherwise is not being truthful.
No, I'm just trying to reconcile that with the point of being good Iraqi too.
No, good Iraqi, we have a social contract, we abide by it. You guys are not abiding by it. You're violating it every day. This is after the regime change. That was.
And when you say you mean the Iraqi government, not me.
Of course. But no, that dreams will remain, even for not our generation, future generation will remain there.
Okay.
And there are many ways how to handle that.
Okay.
Okay.
Let's go to another flash.
But now, to complete that, we have Iraq is we constructed the new state to be a federal state.
Yeah.
If the Kurdish federal rights or constitutional rights are protected, then there will be less urgency to go for independence. That's the deal.
Okay, so this is the dynamic now.
Yeah.
Let's go to another flashpoint.
Yeah.
Kuwait and Iraq.
Yes.
When you were foreign minister, Iraq signed an agreement.
Yes.
To organize and manage territorial disputes, especially territorial water dispute. Recently, the Iraqi Supreme Court nullified that, and it created a huge controversy. Now, the Kuwaitis are very angry and very worried, and they dedicated their whole participation in the recent United Nations General Assembly to make that case against Iraq.
Yeah.
On the other hand, Iraqis think that, you have given too much as part of the government of the day in 2012 and 2013. And most of the Iraqis, it looks to me, they support the decision to pull out of that agreement and negotiate another agreement. Okay. You are accused of giving in to Kuwait, giving too much to Kuwait, and even more than that, there are talks about taking money from Kuwait, not just you, but other Iraqi senior officials, in return of agreeing the terms of that agreement, which was more favorable to Kuwait than Iraq.
Well, I'll answer with the last part of your question. That was an absolute lie. There was no bribes. There was no money.
You didn't take any money from Kuwait?
Whatsoever, okay? That's a fake news, as they say. And those people who accused us at the time, we took them to Iraqi court and they were persecuted and punished for their slanders against myself and my colleague and my team. Rafid, I feel very proud that we did resolve that remaining issues between Kuwait and Iraq, okay, during my term as a foreign minister. My country was under sanctions, was under Chapter 7, under about over 40 Security Council resolutions. And we wanted to break with the past to free our country from all these restrictions. And one of the key issues has to be the resolving of the border issues with Kuwait, both the land border and the maritime border. Yeah. There was a Security Council Resolution 833. You should revise that.
Yeah.
In 92, 93. Yeah. That demanded that Iraq recognize the new border sets, both in land and sea, and recognize Kuwait. At the time, during Saddam Hussein, they tried through their foreign ministry at the time to write a letter. They said the Iraqi government during Saddam Hussein's
government. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. They wrote a letter through Mohammed Saeed al-Sahab. It was rejected by Security Council. They wrote another letter by the Al-Majlis al-Watani al-Iraqi.
The Iraqi parliament under Saddam.
Under Saddam. They refused it. They insisted it has to come from Saddam Hussein himself and the Revolutionary Command Council.
The Kuwaitis did.
No, the Security Council. Of course. Yeah. So we didn't do anything new. We implemented what we are asked to under these international obligations.
Okay.
Okay? Our constitution also tells us that Iraq has to live up to its international obligations. Yeah. Okay? What the federal court did in Baghdad was a huge mistake. Yeah. Put the country in a quagmire. Yeah. Okay? That really it will cost our government and our country a great deal
How?
of confidence, of trust, of its obligations, of investors, of people dealing with it. This is an international agreement.
This is not happening, by the way. Even the Americans, when they talk to Iraqis, they look...
Listen, we jointly handed this. This was an obligation. We put it at the custodian of the United Nations.
I know, but the Iraqi Supreme Court now...
I know. So the parliamentarians to go and retrieve it, or a decision by the federal court, which is, by the way, not constitutional, this federal court, okay?
Yeah.
At all.
Yeah.
At all. And part of the government or the political agreement to change and put this court on its constitutional basis.
Which is not happening, and this is disputed. I know what you're referring to when you say it's not constitutional. It's not the one that was described in the Iraqi constitution, but it's a de facto Supreme Court, and all the parties have to deal with it, and they recognize it in Iraq.
Not necessarily, because it's politicized, okay, and it's used to settle differences with others. If you look at the list of the decisions or the decrees this court has issued, for instance, against the KRG, which is a constitutional entity.
Yeah, the Kurdistan regional government.
I know, it's unbelievable, and against others as well. So this is very widespread.
But who else, apart from your faction, who else doesn't recognize the power of the Supreme Court?
Many other groups and parties now, even members of the court feel really their time is over now.
We'll see about that.
No, we'll see. We'll see. But to tell you another thing, we didn't concede anything to Kuwait at all.
You gave them half of the Khor Abdulla waterway.
This is a mistake.
It's an estuary between Iraq and Kuwait, you made concessions that were rejected.
Not at all. Go and read 833, Rafid.
Yeah.
But if people think they can renegotiate Security Council resolution under Chapter 7, let them try their luck. But this is impossible. Now listen. Secondly, this agreement we made for organizing navigation, not territorial things. We didn't concede an inch to the Kuwait. These coordinates are written in that appendix of 833. It was our request from the Kuwaiti. The Kuwaiti used to refuse that half of this is there. We said, no, this is our only way to the Gulf, so we need to administer this jointly. We didn't concede.
And why is this case, finally, not made in this clear terms to Iraqis?
Well, they know everybody. The Prime Minister, Mohammed Shia al-Sudani, the current one, was a member of the delegation when we signed this agreement. The agreement was not signed by Hoshyar Zebari for unity. It was signed by Hadi al-Amiri. He was the Minister of Transport.
Yeah. Okay. Iran's influence in Iraq has become huge after 2013 and even bigger in recent years. How do you see the future of Iraq under this influence from Iran? Especially, with all what's happening in the region.
Rafid, it is a fact. Iran has a huge influence in Iraq. Okay? And historically, if you look
But you have been critical. No, we're not talking about history now. We don't have time. No, you have been more recently, when you were in office, you were not that critical. You were diplomatic, as I would expect you to be. But in more recent years, you are very critical to Iran and the Iranian-backed militias in Iraq.
Even when we were in office, we didn't compromise our principles at all. Yeah. You can go back and check. Or when my book came out, okay, with evidence on how we stood for Iraqi national interest vis-a-vis Turkey, vis-a-vis Iran, vis-a-vis Kuwait, vis-a-vis others. So we didn't compromise our principles, whether we were in office or not. But Iran, as a fact of matter, has influence.
Yeah, of
Let's
course.
not kid ourselves.
Of course. No, what I meant is
I know.
What I meant is you looked more acceptable.
No, this influence extended through political, through financial, through cultural, through religious, through sectarian connection.
No, I know that. But more recently, they're bombing Kurdistan. What happened? There are changes to that power and influence. 2 years ago, they used ballistic missiles to attack your region.
I know.
And the Iranian-backed armed groups are threatening Kurdistan.
I know they were firing rockets.
Do you feel safer or less safer now?
No. They fired rockets. They fired drones. They tried to commit assassinations and so on.
Yeah, and they accused you of hosting Israeli agents and Israeli intelligence stations.
Which was a big lie. They came themselves, or also the Iraqi parliament, delegation, and checked, and it was a lie. Yeah. It was a fabricated lie.
But my claim is that you are less safe now in this region.
I know, but we have been living in this tough neighborhood. We have to deal with our adversaries, to deal with our friends, you see, to manage. It's not black and white, Rafid.
No, it's not. It's never black and white in politics.
Exactly.
Finally, on Turkey. Turkey is also, you have better relations, your factions, your party, have better relations with Turkey. But Turkey now has its own war, has always had it with the Kurdish rebels, the Kurdistan Workers' Party. What is your role in this conflict, and how does it affect Kurdistan?
No.
Iraqi
Turkish incursion have been ongoing since the 90s.
Yes.
Okay.
And you fought alongside the Turkish army against the Kurdish Turkish rebels.
No, we drove them out several times, but they were reintroduced.
Yeah. And now they're more powerful.
No. They are not powerful. They have left Turkey. They have nothing in Turkey.
But they are in Iraq and Kurdistan.
I know. They have moved their direction.
To your neighborhood.
Exactly. And they are our opponents.
Yeah.
They want to be our alternatives.
Yeah.
Okay? Yeah. Which we are resisting. We will not surrender what we have achieved to a bunch of idealists or terrorists, honestly.
Yeah.
So, in that sense, Turkey has a pretext.
Yeah.
Says, if you can flush them out, you or the federal Iraqi government, I will not come after them. Okay? But now, if you can't stop them, I have to pursue them. Yeah. And for your information, again, this was the ills or the legacy Saddam Hussein left it for us. Because in the 80s, during Iran-Iraq war, he gave Turkey a carte blanche to come and follow the PKK.
So blame it on Saddam Hussein.
No, honestly. Honestly.
Okay. Let's
honestly,
ask,
if you go back to history.
No, I know about that agreement.
It used to be called the Hot Pursuit Agreement.
I know.
So anyway.
Now finally, I want to ask about America.
But it is a problem. It's a big problem for us, a headache.
Yeah. I want to ask about America.
And their presence here are not with our consent or desire or approval.
Although they are fellow Kurds.
Although
and they have a cause, and they have their ambition for independence.
I know, but we tell them, go in Turkey and do your struggle there.
Okay. So it's not a joint.
This is not your arena. We will not interfere, will not impose how you're going to resolve the Kurdish issue in Turkey or in Iran, but we will not allow you to come and dictate on us.
The PKK, the Kurdistan Workers' Party, the Kurdish Turkish rebels, are considered a terrorist organization by America, by Britain, by the EU. But in 2014, the United States started working with Syrian affiliates of the PKK, the Kurdistan Workers' Party. And those became the Syrian Democratic Forces, the SDF, which now controls eastern Syria with the American backing, and there are American troops in that part. Yeah. The U.S. administrations claim that those are different. Those are not PKK. Those are not the Kurdish Turkish terrorists. Those are Syrian Democratic Forces. Do you agree with that policy?
Listen, let's put it in context. Okay?
Yeah.
Let's put it in context.
But we need your opinion about the U.S. policy on that.
Exactly. The American rationale, after Daesh emerged, okay, they had a new strategy. by, with, and through.
Yeah.
Okay? Not to commit many boots on the ground, to rely on local forces, but to use their air power, okay, intelligence, to support local forces to defeat Daesh. And that's how the PYD, or the now SDF, have been created.
Those are Syrian Kurds who are support or affiliates of the
to
PKK.
fight ISIS. That is the basis of American alliance with them.
Again, that's next door to you and
No,
affecting
I
the
know,
government.
but you have to put it in context. This why the American choose this group as their ally.
Because
Because
they needed a partner on the ground.
Exactly, they needed local forces
Yeah.
on the ground to train them, to support them, to defeat ISIS.
So do you agree with the US policy on that?
I mean, it worked.
Okay.
Daesh was defeated.
But
Both
the PKK are now more powerful.
I know they benefited. They used that vacuum, you see, to establish them.
And you and them compete on control of the same neighborhood.
I told you our view of the PKK here, okay?
Yeah.
We disagree with them. We are at odds with them.
Yeah.
All right?
Yes, I know that. That's what I'm saying.
Exactly. So, but the American found them to be their allies or accidental allies. Okay?
Yeah.
In this fight.
And their Syrian incarnation, which is the SDF.
Exactly.
Okay. Thank you so much,
Not at
Hoshyar
all,
Zebari, for
Rafid.
doing this.
Most
Thank you.
welcome.
Thank you.